Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to the 5ers YouTube channel. My name is Snir, and in this short video, I will explain about the difference between support resistance and supply demand, which is two different levels. Many traders confused between support resistance and supply demands. Many traders don't even know about supply demands, and there are some that know and consider a support resistance and supply and demand is the same. So in this video, I will explain and show you exactly what is the difference between supply demand and support resistance. And okay, so let's start. First, I would like to explain a short explanation about supply and demand, how supply demand created and how it looks on the charts. Okay, so actually, supply and demand levels are a level in the price that had an imbalance, a huge imbalance between sell orders and buy orders. Okay, after this huge imbalance is filled, the price run away from that levels. Okay, I'll give you an explanation and I'll show you on the charts what I mean. Usually, supply and demand defines but by a few small candles, as you can see here. It's not the classic example, but we will see more. A few small candles that usually move aside on the same range, very tight range, and then we will see the price run away from that level. Okay, as you can see here. This is how it looks on the chart when the price create a supply level. Okay, so in that sample, I would like to explain and tell you what happened behind the scene. In that situation, when supply and demand occur, usually the large institutional banks, private banks, public banks, or federal banks, central banks, big fund institutional, usually they have the large amount of money to create those levels. Okay, it's not the trader that create these levels. We don't have this power. We are not even we don't have any impact on the price. Actually, the traders, just the normal traders like us, even if we do the same position, all of us together at the same minute, it won't affect the price. Okay, so a big institutional like a central bank or public bank had a huge amount of sell order at this level. Then all the buy orders are gone, and many sell orders, which called unfilled orders, left at this level with no buy orders to fill them. Then when the imbalance, the difference between the sell orders and the buy orders are huge, we will see this reaction usually. We will see the price run away from that levels in a very aggressive and fast way. So that's how supply and demand created behind the scene on the bank system. And this is how it looks on the chart. A few small candles that moving aside on this very tight range, and then the price run away from that level. After this level created, okay, usually a trader that trades supply and demand, the safest way is to trade on the first touch when the price came back to visit this level. In this case, it's here. As you can see, I just marked the line that put the borders on this level, and this is the first touch. Okay, the first touch is the safest touch to open at this situation, to open a sell position, just when the price touch this level. And the reaction here that you can see, it's because of this supply on the left. So originally, this is how it looks. This is supply level, okay? And then we can see how the price touched this level on the first time, and then the second time, and now we can consider this level as a resistance level, okay? So what I'm trying to say is that originally it was supply level when the price just created and ran away. After the price touched this level 1 and 2, it became a resistance zone, okay? Which means now it's too risky to sell if the price will go back again to check this level. It became too risky because actually what we are doing when we're using supply and demand, we are just counting on the unfilled orders that left here behind. So when the price just reach on the first time visit this level, we are counting on these unfilled orders to be filled, and then we will see the price reaction. Because there are unfilled orders that left here, we don't know exactly how much. We can never know that. So the first time is the safest time. Then the second time, we don't know if there are any more unfilled orders. But what for sure that there are less than it was before. Of course, we can see sometimes the price touch the same level 5, 6, 7 times, and still we will see the reaction. But from time to time, it became more and more risky. So the first time is the safest way to trade supply and demand. Then what we consider now as a resistance here originally was supply, which we can see here on the left. Above, we have another supply that the price didn't visit since created it. All right, this level, you can see. Behind this supply, here on the left, we can see a level that was kind of resistance, but it was before the price created this supply, not after. So this supply created after all this resistance was here, and therefore this one is counted an valid supply to sell on the first touch. Probably what we will see when the price reaches this supply, we will see, most likely, not for sure of course, but we will see reaction, and then maybe another one if the price will go back again to check this level, and then what was originally supply will turn into resistance level. Okay, this is how a fresh supply look. Okay, this is how supply that the price already touched twice looks. It became a resistance level. Okay, any resistance and support on the chart, if you take a good look on the left, you'll see that in the originally it was a supply or demand. For resistance, you will find probably supply on the left, and for support, you will find probably a demand on the left. Okay, let's try to find another one. This is the AUD Euro against the Aussie. Okay, so if we take a look down, we will see that we have this demand. I'll put this shape here. Okay, you can see very clear the few small candles on this very tight range. Okay, and then the price run away from that level. So this demand is a valid one. Since the price created this one, we didn't visit there. So it's a great level to buy on the first touch. But most likely, what we will see, again, not 100%, but if we will see the price holding on this level, 1 and then 2 and then 3, then what was originally demand might become a support level. But for now, it's a fresh demand, it's not support, and it's a good demand to buy on the first touch. Okay, I'll show you another example. Take the US dollar against the Japanese yen, and we can see same situation here. What was originally supply, which we can see it here, all right, this cube. What was originally a supply level, then the price dropped from that level, became after a while a resistance zone, all this zone. Okay, the price visit on the first time, I believe this one was the first touch, then again and again and again and again, and actually collect, probably in some way collect all the sell orders that the price left here. So after a while, the sell orders, the unfilled orders at this supply ended, and then we can see that the price may be on his way to break out this supply and go through the next available supply on the left, which is probably this one on the top here. Okay, so what was originally supply after a while became a support, or if you see this support, just take a look on the left and see the supply that created this support. Okay, and if we take a look on this daily chart, we will see here above this one, a supply. It's a fresh one. The price didn't touch yet, as you can see here, and we are still waiting for the price to reach that level. Once the price reach that level, we can sell on the first touch. All right, so this is supply level and it's a fresh one. Okay, you can find this situation at any time frame. As you can see here, we have a resistance, this one and this one. If you take a look on the left, you'll see here this supply. Okay, that's the reason that we'll see this resistance here. If the price reach that level again, it's risky to sell after the price already touched this level twice. All right, I always preferred the first touch. So you can see it at any time frame you want, and of course the situation and the conclusion will be the same. If you take a look on the short time frames, the conclusion will be for the short terms. Okay, and I'll try to find another sample for this. Let's take a look on this. Well, this one is not a perfect one, but okay. As you can see, the support here below, because till now you saw only resistance. So you can see this support here below. Now it's better. All these levels. The reason for that is a demand here on the left. Let's zoom out, and it's this one. Okay. So demand that became support after the price touched this demand 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 times. Okay, so what was demand after a while, after the price visit and test this level few times, became a support level. It's not demand anymore, and therefore If the price reach that level again, it's too risky to buy again at this level, since we really don't know if there are any more left unfilled orders here. Okay, so that's the difference between supply demand and support resistance. Okay, supply demand is the original level that the price created after a large amount of money orders get inside the bank system and create huge imbalance, and therefore that situation created the supply and demand levels. And after the price tests these levels again and again, they turn off to be resistance or support. Okay, I'm not saying that support resistance is not a critical level on the chart. There are critical levels that the price find it hard to break out sometimes, but it's not a level, it's not the ideal level, at least from me, from my opinion and from my experience. It's not the ideal level to buy or sell, to open a position. It's a good level to manage the position, which means maybe close position, or maybe close part of the position, and maybe roll the stop loss if the price reaches support and resistance. And for example, before we finish, if we are in a sell position now and the price reach that level here, the support here, and we are in a nice profit at this time, all right, I will definitely consider to close the sell position, since we just reached a support level. Okay, but I won't buy, I'm not going to buy, I won't open a buy position at this level, but I'll definitely manage the sell position. I'll close the position, I'll close part of the position, and I roll my stop loss and things like that. Okay, so there are critical levels, but more critical levels are the supply and demand levels. Those are the great and the ideal levels to sell, to open, sell, or buy position. All right, that's all for now. I hope you'll find it good and interesting and and find the benefit from it. And I hope it will improve your results. Thank you for listening, and see you the next time. Bye bye.